Hello everyone, we're back today for some more Civ 6 news because after E3 we have had some news on Civ 6, so here's a recap. To start off, we have seen the new builders. All this footage is thanks to IGN because I, of course, was not there, so I wasn't able to get any footage. But if you want to check out IGN's full video, feel free. But as you can see, the builders, every time that they move, it takes 0 turns to complete tile improvements, and they have their little charges down there in the bottom right. So each time they move, they can simply go and just build an improvement wherever they want. And right here, whenever they make this tile improvement, you can see, wait for it, that boom, you get a Eureka. So that's the thing that I talked about in the first Civ news video with the tech boosts every time you do things. So in this case, whenever they discovered whatever resource that was, I think that was marble or stone or something like that, they got a boost to masonry. So that should be actually a pretty cool thing. It'll change up the way that everything progresses. We can then see this same thing with the Eureka Science boost later in the footage whenever they send a settler to go found a new city. So I guess since this is a coastal city, they gain bonus knowledge on sailing. So that is going to be an interesting way to see how much of an advantage you can get over the other people in the game just by getting these Eureka boosts. So that should be pretty cool. Also to be noted here, as you can see, they show the little cycle of day through night, so that is actually an option that you can do now. You can cycle through day and night, and I believe that it is just an aesthetic thing. It doesn't actually do anything for gameplay or anything like that. But right here, what we're seeing is the caravan, and this is also how you make roads. So as the caravan goes along his little path, he makes roads. They did discuss that maybe later in the game you'll have a way to customize which path they take and make your own roads. But early game, at least, that is how to make roads. Jumping forward a little bit here, we can see that they are making a holy site district, and this is pretty much a way to expand your city. Like, before you would just have shrines and all that stuff in your city, but now you build them outside, so this is a holy site district, which provides faith. And it is apparently actually based on the scenery that is around it, so since there's like a little forest here, it is more effective than if it was just, in like a desert or something like that. So that's a pretty neat thing, and it actually makes you have a reason not to chop down every single forest to rush wonders now, I guess. And right here, they're also showing the building of the pyramids. You can pick what tile your wonders go on, so now they are no longer in the city. They take up their own tiles, which kind of makes me wonder if you can raise them whenever you're attacking someone, but that's actually yet to be discussed. So, yeah. So wonders are now out. As you can see, this other city now has a nice dock on it. It has all these windmills, and it just is looking generally quite nice. Jumping forward once again, we get to see some combat with the Barbarians. The Barbarians now, as discussed before, will send out scouts towards your civilization, and if these scouts find your civilization, they will continue to send troops to attack you. So if you don't kill that scout before he gets back to the encampment, you're going to have a rough time. So Barbarians are much tougher in this game, supposedly, just because of the fact that they are a lot smarter, so that should be interesting. Also to be noted is the troops that they trained here can only be trained in an encampment district, which is very similar to the Holy Site district, except it serves the purpose of just training troops. Right here, a little bit later again, you can see how policies work in this game. You have 4 policies. You have military, economic, diplomatic, and wild card, and with those you just kind of put in these little cards and you get your various bonuses and drawbacks for each. So that should be quite an interesting thing. I'm not sure if that's based on like diplomacy or culture or what, but either way it should be a pretty neat thing. Now we can take a look at some of the leaders in combat. So right here we have Cleopatra. I don't believe she was announced before, or at least she wasn't shown before. So one of the new things with the AI is they all have their various personalities, more so than in other Civ games. Like, they discussed about Teddy Roosevelt, how he has his big stick policy, which if you've ever taken American history policy or class, you know that actually was a thing. But pretty much what that means is that he's going to have a big military, even if he doesn't use it, but if anybody comes after him, he's going to try to attack them. How Cleopatra works is she tries to defend herself, and in defense of herself, she often will target other big civs. So in this case, you can see that they are just steamrolling straight through poor old China here, trying to take them out, and then China brings in tanks, and then it's the end of Cleopatra. But one thing is, defense is going to be a lot harder in Civ 6 than Civ 5, simply because your city is not all in one tile, so you can't just be like, yo, let's protect this one tile. Because now your science districts, your industry districts, your religious districts are all outside of your city, so you have to take extra care to defend those, otherwise your city's just going to crumble. So now, as you can see here in this footage, China is now on the offensive. They have aerial units, they have artillery, they have tanks, And late game combat looks, well, as fun as it ever did. I kind of like the destruction more, and then they eventually just take over Egypt, and, poor Cleopatra, she's dead. But to finish off all of the Civ, for the last thing, we can see the one of the victories, which is space victory. So of course it works like you're building a wonder. You have a tile outside, which once again it makes me wonder if you can raise that tile if you're attacking. But then you get the space victory, and I'm not sure if this is animated or what, but it looks really awesome. And yep, so pretty much you just go off into space, normal space victory, science victory, whatever heck that was called. I'm sure there will be the other victories. And then they just close out with Civilization VI. So thank you everyone for watching. I've been the Saxy Gamer. Civ 6 at E3. If you want to check out the full gameplay and listen to some of the devs talk about it, go check out IGN's video. I will link it in the description because after all, it is their footage. If you liked the video, feel free to like. If you didn't, feel free to dislike. If you want more, feel free to subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.